So quite a few times I've had people, whether it's been at work or just friends or colleagues, whatever, say to me, how do you believe in God? Like you seem like a intelligent, like a rational, you know, logical kind of person. How do you believe in this, you know, make-believe person in the sky? Like, surely you know that it's all just fairy tales and it's all just, you know, religion's just all about controlling people, and it's just a nice idea for people to make themselves feel better, and, you know, all those societal constructs. Kind of links back to one of the previous video that I made about you know, Santa Claus, Easter Bunny. People group God together with those sorts of things, and it's interesting because I wonder if that's just been groomed in our society from when we were young. So a lot of people just think God, that's just a make-believe fairy tale, just like everything else. But yeah, I just want to talk about this whole concept of like, but what do you mean? Like, how can an intelligent, rational, logical person believe in God? Like, a lot of people just think that you can't have one and the other. Like, if you believe in God, you've just got to be a person who's not that smart, who just doesn't question things. They just believe what they're told, and, you know, nothing can be further from the truth. And I just want to address that, because I find it interesting. Like, I never get offended. I mean, what's the point of getting offended? I get excited, like when people ask me that question of, like, you know, how can you believe in God, or they think it's silly or whatever. Like, I get excited because I get to tell my story. I get to you know, there's nothing to be offended about, and if anything, I prefer it when people are honest with me. If someone's really thinking, oh, this guy's crazy, he believes in God, but to my face they're like, oh yeah, cool, yeah, no, that's good, like that's, like, I'd rather you just be authentic and genuine and go, oh really? Like, I mean, I get it, there is a place for just being respectful and calm. We're not going to just tell every single person that we met what we think. I get it, but yeah, I enjoy it. So, like, I actually think it takes way more faith to believe, well, to not believe that God exists, to not believe that a creator exists. I think it takes way more faith. So, like, just use this car that I'm sitting in as an example, right? If I was to tell you that this car somehow formed over millions of years, just like the right rock and metal particles were just colliding and mixing together, and over millions of years, and adaptation and erosion and this and that, and then, you know, over millions of years, somehow this car just formed. Just there was some sort of an explosion, a big bang, and things just formed, and then this car just formed. If I was to tell you that, you'd tell me you're crazy. Like, look at the car, it's been designed for a purpose. Everything about the car has a purpose. It's obviously been designed, it's been crafted. Someone has made this car. This car just didn't automatically come into being somehow through miraculous chance of particles mixing together. Like, everyone knows that, no one would question that. And yet, how much more intricate and crazy are ourselves, like our body, like not even just our physical bodies, which are a miracle in themselves, how our brain connects to our body, and, you know, the body regulates itself, like, but even our emotions, our mind, our reason. Like, it takes a crazy amount of faith to think that all this just happened by, like, just ourselves now, just happened by chance, because the right particles mixed together, the right atmospheric, you know, conditions, the right spark of light, and then somehow, boom, a human being was just formed and created out of a monkey, or like whatever the first life form was. Like, it's interesting. I heard someone say once that, like, there's no example in nature of life being created from non-life. Something that's not alive somehow creating life. Like, life always precedes life. And so if we are alive, we are sentient beings, it just makes sense that we proceeded from something that is also alive and sentient, not just a random, you know, chance of particles mixing together and atmospheric conditions and stuff. And look, I'm not, if that's what you believe, I'm not criticizing you. Please don't feel any judgment. I'm just providing what I believe is a logical response to a lot of people's thinking that, you know, how can you believe in God if you're a rational, logical person? And I think if you're a rational, logical person, it makes more sense that you do believe in God and a creator. Now, I'm not saying that that in itself should make you just believe in God. Of course not. It should make you start to question. So, and then the other thing, like, you know, when people ask me that, I get excited because I get to tell my story. And, you know, there's a difference between believing in God because you've heard about it or because you start to believe in it, and then when you actually experience God and you find out he's real for yourself. That's a huge jump. So, you know, I grew up sort of being taught about God. I believed that there was a God, but I had never really experienced him. And then it wasn't until a moment in my life where I had an experience, and then it changed my life forever, because I then found out God was real. Like, I believed God was real before that, but then I found out God was real. And then that changes everything, you know. And I've experienced, you know, I've heard God's voice. There's more than a handful of times in my life since then that I have heard God's voice inside me speak to me, which is different from my own voice. I've seen miracles happen in my life, like crazy things that there's no way could have happened if God isn't real. But, you know, even for me, the evidence that I have that God is real it's actually within me. So even if you put, you know, the miracles and things that have happened aside, even if you put, you know, the times that I've heard God's voice aside, and even if you put every other, you know, millions of people around the world who have similar stories, even if you put all those stories aside, the other reason that I know God is real is because I'm not the same person anymore. Like, there was a huge shift, a huge change in my heart. Like, I no longer saw things the same. I no longer saw people the same. I no longer, like, and it wasn't because of a process that I went through. It's not like I went somewhere and got brainwashed and whatever. It was like a switch. I just had an experience. I found out God was real, and boom, it's like I had a new heart, like night and day, completely different. And like, to me, even if you take everything else away, just that in itself proves to me that there's something in this. This is real, because how can a person completely change their character, their nature, the things they care about, like the way they see things, without being, you know, influenced by other people or whatever? Like, it's just from a one-off experience that's lasted. You know, it was like, it's been more than 10 years now since I had that experience with God. So for me, you know, and I'm not expecting other people to believe in God just because of my story, but it should make you question. And if you feel like you've already arrived at your destination, this is what you believe, that's cool as well. I'm just providing a response to the question that I sometimes get asked. When you have really encountered God, when you've discovered God is real for yourself, it totally changes you. And to some people, you might look crazy, you might look like you've lost the plot. But to other people, they're like, wow, like, this person has actually changed for the better. And it's more than just self-improvement. It's more than just you know, trying to improve a certain area of your life. It's just like everything has drastically changed overnight. Like, there's nothing else that can do that. And the same answer I give to everyone, you know, that asks me about God or anything like that. I give the same answer to everyone. If you really want to find out if God is real for yourself, I believe you've just got to, when you're alone in your bedroom, like the Bible says, Jesus says, you know, go to your secret place and, you know, close the door and pray to God. When you're alone and you can actually say something heartfelt, if you genuinely ask God, if you're real, I want to find out. I want to know. Like, and if you really mean it in your heart, like, if you're willing to drop that stubborn mentality of, oh, I know better than that. Like, if you're willing to just let that go for a second and say, look, if I am wrong, God, like, show me, please show me. I believe that'll start your journey, and things will start to happen. As long as you really meant it, that's how you'll find out for yourself as well. Because, you know, people can have arguments and debates and things like that, and you can spend a whole life debating and arguing, but if you experience God, it changes everything. If you want to find out if God is real, you have to experience. The Bible says, taste and see that the Lord is good. You've got to taste, you've got to see. You've got to experience that God is real and he is good. It's not enough just to hear about it. It's not enough to have discussions about it. You can have your own theories, your own opinions. That's fine. I've got my own theories and opinions on other things, and, you know, that's good, but it's not the same as experience. theories and opinions and debates are not the same as experience, because you can have one experience and it completely undoes all of your opinions. So yeah, that's why I just want to encourage you. If you really want to know the answer, look, most people don't really want to know the answer. They just like to believe what they believe and have debates. And you know, I'm not criticizing, but I'm just saying, if you really want to know the answer, that's what I believe is the way to find out. All right, God bless you guys. I'll see you on the next one.